An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Need I remind everybody, also part of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, the great cartoon discussion show, Toontastic Journeys, as well. But welcome back, everybody. This is An Evening at the Movies, your favorite movie-based podcast. It is the podcast where, and I think I forgot to say this yesterday, we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered-down sodas, and our guest actually has the stale popcorn with him today. Yay! But and we discuss all of our favorite movies and why we love them. We are rejoined today after a one episode hiatus because you got the Rona. Welcome back, co-host.
Thanks. Sorry I missed it yesterday, you guys. I really wanted to, and I'm only podcasting today because I really wanted to. Otherwise, I'd still be asleep. But I am feeling a little better. I'm glad to be here, and ignore my voice. It's just the COVID. I got some hot tea going on now.
And
nice.
Well, you well, I mean, you do live in the South, so you know iced tea is also.
Well, but everybody here drinks
down there.
Iced tea, and I do not. That stuff's nasty. I'm actually drinking Emergency right now instead of tea. Emergency is the shit. It's got 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
Mm-hmm. Vitamin C, the thing that hopefully will beat COVID to its knees and keep it there for the rest of its life.
Let's hope so.
But with all of that said, we're going to introduce everybody's favorite guest is back with us again. I feel like it's been a long time since he's been on the show. We've missed him lately. Actually, more than 24 hours because 24 hours would have been 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer. Yeah, prior commitments.
It's almost 12 o'clock today.
Mm-hmm.
But
Thanks for waiting.
We have the he is sexual chocolate, according to Amanda. He is for life. He is an old fogey. He is my next door neighbor in the active adult community living. He is. I will let him tell you everything that he hosts in the podcast world because, like yesterday, the list is long and distinguished, like my Johnson.
What? And on that note, because the last thing I wanted
on that note,
yeah, I don't want to be like thought of right after this man's Johnson, but yeah.
Harvey is back with us. Welcome back, Harvey.
Yay! Wow, twice. I love it. I'm back on one of my favorite podcasts.
In a week
is exciting. And I'm so excited because I've got the book. I've got it. It's sitting here, but I'm not going to show it yet in case you don't know. But yes, I do host Men Are the Prize, the podcast. I co-host Love is Black, the podcast. I co-host Black Like Me with Josh. We draft on Tuesdays. I've been on,
without me.
I know, and it's not the same. And I've been on the Sip List, Crushgasm. I've done it all. And still, these kids are still being raised pretty well. They're eating at least once a day. At least.
I mean, at school, you got to think they're eating at least once a day.
Yes. Yeah. On the weekends, though, whole different affair because it's all me. But it's okay.
Well, they all go to school, so they eat at school.
Yes, that's true.
Chef Harvey doesn't cook at home. But with all that, you did mention, Harvey, that you've been on that amazing show Crushgasm before,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's been a while since we've discussed the fact of how long it took both you and I to get
I'm
on
saying, yeah.
that damn show. Like there was like a conspiracy to keep Harvey and Kasey off of Crushgasm. Dre
I,
multiple times. Amanda
mm-hmm.
got to
Whatever.
go. Everybody got to go. But
I'm better than you
Harvey and I are
guys.
just sitting here dangling. Whatever.
Hey, DeAndre had been on there twice before we got on there once, dude. Shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yes. But I am happy to be on today because we are talking about, I think, is it fair to say
1B.
it is either 1A or 1B in terms of my favorite SK movie / book.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. 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 We
It's
talked about
definitely
1A before. Mm-hmm.
we did talk about 1A yesterday, and you were kind of back and forth over the is yesterday 1A or is it 1B? Is today 1A or is it 1B?
We'll
This
see.
So
movie is better than
maybe by the
yesterday's
end of the
movie.
episode,
That's a fair. I think it's fair, and I guess we'll talk about that. I think this is a better. To me, this is a better movie, but the one we spoke about previously is a better book, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry I'm not
that
on
definitely
camera,
is planned
everybody,
on.
because
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say sorry I'm
Harper's
not
got
on
the
camera
road.
because I know
Her has the Rona, and she has no makeup on.
Amanda don't need no makeup.
yeah, she does. Or she at least needs a clean face and hair in an acceptable. Here, I'm gonna give y'all one quick look. Nobody wants
Okay,
to look
I've
at
seen
that.
worse.
Me
Yeah.
too. Much.
I stayed at your house for 2 nights
Yeah,
a
but that was
couple
just
years
you.
ago.
That was just you. It's
Um,
not the whole internet to see.
oh,
They got to pay for
well,
the
I
good
mean,
stuff.
the hundreds are watching right now, and definitely 100%. I need to say this before we get going, but these last two episodes that we've recorded of An Evening at the Movies have done amazingly well. Um, Amanda and I did a great number on the live viewing for Doctor Sleep. 51 viewings for, the live viewing is a pretty good number. Um, not gonna lie, it pales in comparison to what Harvey and I did yesterday on Firestarter. 156.
Damn.
So we not especially the. I'm not saying one's better than the other because I actually love both of those last two movies amazingly well, and I gave both of them nostalgic high ratings. And we'll get into what I give Christine later, but
Dr.
you
Sleep
guys are
can't be
definitely showing
nostalgic.
up each
It's
and every
you.
week for. I gave Doctor Sleep a great rating.
I know, but you said nostalgic, and I was like, that movie is like 5 years old. Anyway, sorry.
Nostalgia from my early 40s instead of being in my late 40s like I am now.
Exactly.
I remember
Closer to
those
50 than
days.
you are to 40. George said
Mhm.
that to me the other day, and I about murdered him. He's about to get his own Dateline episode.
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, oh my God, why am I not? By the way, one, my co-host is slipping. Two, good morning, Caleb. We are happy you are here with us
I
for
was just
Chris.
about to say something.
Well, I haven't said it yet,
Hi,
but
Caleb.
my co-host is definitely 100% slipping because I haven't made the post public yet, and we're
Oh, crap,
10
because I
minutes
just
into the
shared it
episode.
too. So,
What the hell?
hi, Caleb. And yeah, I
um,
told you I'm on a steady decline now, so my commentary should be interesting.
okay, why?
But yeah, what I watched of yesterday was a good episode. I thought you guys had good insights. I did not get to watch the whole thing. I fell back asleep. I slept almost the entire day yesterday. So, but I have no doubt it was a good episode, even though I
No,
wasn't
I
there.
mean,
Sleep is good, and it's important when you're not feeling well. So that's
Yep.
especially when you have the COVID.
That's all I did last time
But
I had it.
there it is. Oh my god! It's like I literally edit privacy, public.
Oh, I am
So
going to turn my
now
camera on
everybody
real
can see
quick,
it.
just so I want, especially if Dre's watching, my favorite
So
teacup. I don't have a spoon.
so Brandy can see you.
It says, "Ain't nothing but a tea
Brandy says
thing, baby."
hi.
Hi, everybody.
1, 2, 3 into the foe. Okay. So
Exactly.
we fooled
I love
around long enough, and
and we're
Brandy
not falling
says
in love.
hi back. Um, but as everybody knows, it is Stephen King Birthday Bonanza month.
Heck yeah.
This will be our second episode in the grand scheme of things. Next week will be the episode we recorded yesterday, but you can follow on the social medias for all of that. But yes, September 21st will be Mr. King's 77th birthday, and we are here to celebrate and share all the love we can with him because he is great. He is phenomenal. He is everybody's Uncle
King.
Stevie. So, with that said, Harvey, would you like to share with the viewers what book you have sitting to your right hand side?
We're talking
And
about
I will verbally for the listeners.
my favorite
Go ahead.
Stephen King book ever. It is this. It is Christine. I love this book. I love it. This is the original one that I had when I bought it. I don't even remember when. Or this is when I became a member of the Stephen King Club, when, every month they would send you a hardcover Stephen King book. Way back.
That's the copy I have too.
I love this book. I love this book. I've read this so many times I can't even count.
You like it more than The Shining?
I actually did. I
Okay.
really did. And I love The Shining. To be honest, there you go. That's a sip list. I don't know if you've done that, like your top 5 Stephen King books.
I don't think we've done books. We did movies.
Because I think my top 5 Stephen King books would probably be different than everybody else's. I mean, Christine.
I haven't read Christine in a hot minute, so
yeah, this is my number one. Firestarter is like I don't know. It's maybe 1, 2, and then the next 3 would be you wouldn't even have a clue. It's so good, Caleb. So good. I love Stephen King and his ability to talk about friendship.
And he really, ironically, we talked about his love of friendship about a certain movie that we discussed back in episode 3 of An Evening at the Movies that had to get recorded not once but twice because somebody
talk about this yesterday.
pulled the plug. Well, I mean, you weren't here yesterday. You weren't here yesterday for the throwing under the bus, so we have to do it again today.
I would never do this because you're like my brother and I might throw up. But if you were here right now, I would literally kiss you so that you could get my COVID.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so dirty. That's so dirty. I'm going to put this back in front of my face.
As he's gagging on the popcorn that he's been eating.
No, but just to complete that, the best, he does great with stories. He does great with friendship in stories. That, and he's really good with teenagers and like their coming of age stuff, which is what I feel like with Arnie in this book. It's so interesting. Even like the clothes he was wearing, when you see he's got the black rim glasses and everything, and then he gets this car, and then everything kind of changes. He gets a girlfriend.
The car makes him sexy.
Everything. He's so good at showing that, and it's old, but as a guy, I can see it. Like nobody would care about me. Nobody would. No girl would give me the time of day. Now I got the right car.
I'm
feeling good about myself. I'm cocky. A few years later, I do a movie called Back to School. Like I'm awesome. And
what about Jaws 2? It was in Jaws 2.
Yes, he was.
So
I mean,
Brandy wants you to keep your COVID to yourself.
I will keep my COVID to myself. I would never actually do that. But can I just, before we go back into Christine,
laughing his ass off.
Shush. Since you're going to throw me under the bus, can I bring up a certain episode about a movie named The Lion King
Ooh.
that had to be recorded twice because Kasey was so hungover he couldn't put together coherent sentences.
Ooh, were you drunk?
No,
Some kind
I
of
was not
karaoke
drunk and
fiasco?
recording. I was hungover as
He was
fuck
hungover and
and
recording.
trying to record.
I
You was
record
on
drunk all the time.
Okay. I record hungry.
Yeah.
Not today though, because Harvey's eating the stale popcorn and not drinking the watered down soda.
I still have a temporary crown. I can't be eating any popcorn.
Okay.
A crown was supposed to be
Oh,
put
that's
on Wednesday, but got the Rona.
All right. Let's
because the
talk about
co-host got a root canal last week. All
Yes.
right. So, December 9th, 1983, Christine came into the world cinematically by some half-witted director named John Carpenter.
That
Released
fucking
by
guy.
Columbia. Yeah, that guy. He's not Wes Craven. We'll just
He's
leave it
only
at
the
that.
greatest
Released
ever.
by Columbia. Released by Columbia Picture, it had a $10 million budget, and like yesterday's movie, did not have a great profit margin, but made an astounding $21 million at the box office. If you have not seen Christine and would like to, it is streaming currently on
Prime.
AMC Plus and Prime. And now, as we get ready to move into the episode, before we do, though, we get to play everybody's favorite An Evening at the Movies game, the one that Harvey almost nailed on the head yesterday, but he didn't. Close, missed it by that much, like him on Sunday when he gets cut in the Guillotine League. But ladies first, Amanda, would you like to wager a guess as to what you think the amazing fuck Rotten Tomatoes website Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie, Christine?
Um, I'm gonna say the audience score is probably around. Let's go 68%. I'm gonna call the tomato meter. Uh, 70.
Harvey,
I
would you
was
like to wager a guess?
Yeah, I went what I was looking I was watching scenes from this movie on like YouTube and such, and then I saw probably stuff that you saw too, Kasey. This movie was liked by the critics and such. Apparently not by the people because not all of them saw it. I like your number though, but I'll go a little bit. Let's go 65%.
So the audience meter has Christine at a whopping 64%.
Oh, I rule.
And
That's close.
the tomato meter has Christine at a super whopping 72%.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I was close
So
there
the
too.
critics loved this movie 8% more than the audience loved this movie, which I think the audience was probably smoking something in the movie theater when they went to see this movie if they didn't like
The
it.
audience probably read the book and the critics didn't.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's a horribly bad adaptation. I mean,
No.
I've seen worse adaptations of Stephen King's books before. We talked about that yesterday as well. But it's also not as faithful as some of the others that we listed off yesterday as well. So, um, co-host, would you like to briefly give us a 90-second beat the clock plot synopsis? I mean, you could probably do it in 5 seconds. To do. Okay. rat bastard technology.
Muted.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So
I had to cough and then yeah, okay. Um,
ready to 90-second
unpopular,
beat the clock.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
Unpopular nerd Arnie Cunningham buys a Plymouth Fury, which he names Christine. Arnie develops an unhealthy obsession with the car to the alarm of his friend Dennis and his girlfriend Lee. After Buddy Rapperton defaces Christine, the auto restores itself to perfect condition and begins killing off Buddy and his friends. Determined to stop the deaths, Dennis and Arnie's girlfriend Lee decide to destroy Christine. And the reason I read that part, because it says Dennis and Arnie's girlfriend, because that girl really did. She hopped from Arnie to Dennis real fast.
Real fast. Real fast. By the way, Arnie didn't name her Christine.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. For being the Virgin Connie Swale, she sure was a slutbag whore in this movie.
What?
Damn it, you
Yeah.
stole my thunder.
We got Cougar, we got the Virgin Connie Swale, we got the South Bend Shovel Slayer. We got all kinds of people in this movie.
No, I mean, literally, it's got what Jason Mellon, from Back to School.
Yeah.
Cougar from Top Gun. Freaking the dad from Pretty in Pink.
Henry Dean Stanton.
The Virgin Connie Swale.
And the South Bend Shovel Slayer.
I mean,
and she was on Baywatch, right?
And
was she? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alexander Paul.
Yeah.
And one of the sidekicks for Buddy is the freaking dude that kept getting shocked by Venkman at the beginning of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I kept thinking to myself watching the movie, I'm like, where have I seen this guy before? I recognize him and the big poofy freaking hair he had, and I'm where and like Ghostbusters.
Yep.
He was the one that kept getting shocked, and you can keep your damn $5 because that's all Amanda likes to pay for experiences with geeky dudes.
I don't have to pay for anything. Okay, so does the book? I want to ask this because I haven't read the book in probably 10 years at least, so I can't remember. But my first question watching the movie immediately is, how is this car possessed right off the line in Detroit? Like, it just, like, was it like a Chucky thing where like some person put their evil spirit into it, but instead of a doll, it was a car? Or do we know why the car is the way the car is? Because that car just comes out brand new, killing people.
Really don't say. I think I don't think they really saying either whether it was a Chucky thing or whether it was just spontaneous possession or
weird.
The movie literally it's like rolling down the assembly line and some guy puts his hand on the thing and goes to look underneath the chassis and all of a sudden the lid slams on his hand and we're off to the races.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't explain why it's bad. It just shows us that it's bad because the hand under the hood and then the guy in the car, there's very few. It doesn't explain anything. Pretty surprising.
I have a theory. I think that Christine is some kind of mystical shapeshifter. So first, Christine is in the shape of the car, and then after they destroy it and it goes to the junkyard, she goes into that old man who sold it, and then that causes him to become the South Bend Shovel Slayer in Home Alone.
Nice.
Yes. And to answer your question, Caleb, AMC Plus or Amazon Prime. So, but actually, that's kind of sort of along the lines of one of the first questions I had. And it goes more along the lines of Arnie as a whole. Is Arnie possessed or is he just fucked up and demented in the head?
He's a teenager.
He's
Pretty much.
possessed.
Yeah, he's possessed
by Christine for sure. I
but
mean,
he's
yeah, he's a bratty teenager, and he gets a taste of what it's like to be on the cool side. And I think part of it's his teenage brain going, "Oh wow, I can actually get a date. I have this hot car." But it's also Christine for sure possessing him.
I agree. I think it's a case of Christine caught him at the right time.
Oh yeah.
Teen,
Yeah.
not popular, a girl wouldn't even look his direction. And then, especially us boys, we're looking for something to make us, feel special or appear, liked by others. And it just right time. Yeah. And he's easily swayed. And that's what happened. So he's definitely.
Can I just say though, like I know you're talking about how well King writes friendships, especially with teens,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree with that because I do believe their friendship is written well. Mm-hmm. But in reality, in the 70s, I don't see any possible way how Dennis and Arnie are best friends in their senior year of high school. They were probably like childhood friends who would have fallen off by the time they got to high school.
The all-star jock and the
Charity
world's
case.
geekiest nerd in the whole school. I mean, yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, we forgot about Kelly Preston. Sorry, I have it on in the background.
Oh no, I hadn't got there yet either.
Sorry.
But there's, yeah, and you're welcome, Caleb. But the freaking cast in this movie is, you don't realize it until you actually sit there and look at it. But like we were saying, though, it's got Cougar from Top Gun. It's got Jason from Back to School. It's got freaking the Virgin Connie Swale from Dragnet. Yeah. It's got Kelly Preston, for those of you who don't know, the late wife of John Travolta.
The girl who says, "Don't ever stop fucking me," and Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
I watched that with my parents, y'all. Anyway.
Is she Schwarzenegger's love interest in Twins?
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. She was in Secret Admirer and lovely 80s gem that nobody remembers.
Technically, Schwarzenegger's baby mama by the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because, they were twins and they had to each have twins by the end of the movie. Because, haha, wink, wink. But, so, well, that Amanda's question kind of sort of wiped out that question about where do you feel where Christine's evil comes from. As a whole, it's kind of sort of thought about and presented in the book that maybe Christine's evilness comes from Roland LeBay and everything that happens, where the movie, it's kind of sort of just, it manifests in a brand new car coming off the assembly line in Detroit. Which idea do you guys feel like makes for a better story?
Go for it, Amanda.
Okay, well, I didn't really understand the first part. Is the book says or suggests what?
I think what he's asking, I think what we're trying to figure out is it the car that was evil or the first owner that was evil?
Oh, gotcha.
And I think, and it's got to be the car. They made a point of showing the car killing somebody the first day
on the assembly line, like it didn't even have an owner yet.
Right. So so it's got to be the car's evil.
So unless it was somebody that worked on the assembly line and they transferred their evilness into the
could be
car.
Yeah. So,
but it's not just part of the car.
They don't even really technically.
I mean, the whole car regenerates
They don't even
itself,
really technically address that.
Yeah. Didn't have enough time in the movie to get into all that.
Well, no, again, and we talked about this one yesterday too, where, back in the 80s, you were only given, a good hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes to develop a movie and air it. Where nowadays, if you don't get 2 to 2.5 hours, the studio has no freaking belief in you that you can make a good movie. So,
Well, another thing, like Harvey said, a lot of these Stephen King books would benefit from a limited series, for sure.
oh God, because you could definitely dive so much deeper into the whole story. I mean, you could have aspects of an origin story with this. You could have aspects of the history with Christine and Roland as part of it, and it would definitely
Un-
make for a much more significant story.
Unfortunately, I think because so many of these haven't done well, like the Stand reboot, limited series didn't do well. The Outsider did okay. The Outsider was really good. Um, I think the Pet Cemetery Bloodlines thing hasn't done very well. So I think, unfortunately, because those aren't doing well, I'm wondering if people are going to keep trying. But it bums me out because, like, The Outsider I don't think would have worked as a movie. And I feel like, yeah, Firestarter and Christine
Well,
and those could really benefit from limited series. The new book, Holly,
well,
I think could too.
I think where like okay, it may not necessarily have been hugely successful, but like the Dead Zone got spun off into a long running TV series that aired on TV for
That's true.
like
And it
six or
was
seven seasons.
and it was good, and they ran
And
with it, and it was a good show. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily 100% faithful to the book, but
No.
it delved more into the story that they couldn't delve into with Christopher Walken in the
Yeah.
approximate 2 hours that they had for that movie as well. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. They took
but
the premise and they ran with it. That's really all that
yeah,
is there.
yeah, and that the premise for Dead Zone is a great idea, and I think if properly paid attention to, it could make for a good cinematic story. But you have
Mhm.
to get the right director to do it. Mike Flanagan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think
Um,
would work with a lot of the Stephen King stuff if you redo them as shows. I mean, a lot of people didn't read these books. At least the people that are around now, they didn't read them. Maybe this would be the way to kind of bring him back in terms
Yeah.
of his stuff. What I think is with every show, music, anything, there is a group of people that are gonna like it. There's a certain group that will like it. This is a series that would work well on like AMC Plus or
Yeah.
like maybe Prime or something. And you would find the audience. You would find it. Like I think if somebody said Pet Cemetery, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think you find the right audience and you do Firestarter as like a series or you do Christine as a series. There's some people like us who would be like, oh shit, I will watch this
Oh,
and give
yeah,
it a
for sure.
chance and give it a chance. And if
yeah,
it's well done,
yeah,
you bring new people into it. I mean, isn't that Bates? I feel like Bates Motel or Bates Hotel is
Bates Motel
basically
was
that.
great.
And I think there's a whole lot of people who had no fucking clue where that came from. And
Yeah.
then watched it.
no,
I think you can done well, you can bring people in.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the most faithful to
Again.
the
Right.
original book and then Hitchcock's movie, but it definitely introduced that whole idea to an audience that had not gotten a chance to experience. Shame on you people, because Psycho is a fucking amazing movie, and our guest this week will gladly agree with me that Psycho is an amazing movie.
Damn right it
And
is.
for those
And
people in
Yeah.
the network that don't feel that way, DeAndre Robinson,
it's all right. It's all right. And by the way,
fuck
Pet
him.
Cemetery is awesome. I love Pet Cemetery. That'd be
Yeah,
fun. As a series, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I because it's one of those that falls into that category like Christine and Firestarter, Pet Cemetery, Dead Zone, even where it's a short enough book, but there's enough of a premise that there's definitely different windows that are opened up to where you could explore, you know, some of the stuff like Judd Crandall's past in an episode or whatever, or you could explore, you know, the shop, or you could explore,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
all the other various avenues from each story. So definitely
Yeah.
100%.
That I've thought about that. I think Stephen King is the king of the no pun intended of
Eh.
the premise. he has really amazing ideas, and the fact that he's also an excellent writer, he's come up with some interesting beginnings.
Oh yeah.
And then he runs with it, like the stuff, and that's it. The shop. I would so do that. I would so run Firestarter, and then I would swing off, and then I would do the shop, and that would be a series on its own.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on to our generic discussion questions that we have each and every week, Caleb, I'm coming to work tomorrow, and we're going to sit down, and you are going to watch Psycho. You're asking
Oh, Caleb,
what
lucky
Psycho is.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Psycho is such a great. We're not going to watch that hot garbage remake. We will watch the black and white version. So be ready for black and white movies. But you need to watch this movie. This is a great, great movie. I actually think all three of you guys in the house would love it. But we'll sit down and we'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always, yes. Before. No after. But, okay, so Amanda got the last real question first. So Harvey.
Yep.
What do you love about Christine?
Christine is what I love about Christine. It's my favorite character in this book, in the movie. I love it's an inanimate object that is animated to kill people. And I love the idea of that. That's my favorite character. I like Arnie. I like the parents. I'm not a big fan of Lee because what
you like the parents? That mom's an asshole.
Yeah, but it's all right. I mean, it's the times.
Harvey's not a big fan of virgins.
I love the character. I love Christine. Aside from the evilness that becomes of Arnie, I like what Arnie kind of becomes because of it.
I mean, he becomes an asshole.
No. What he becomes, he takes good characteristics and he goes way too far with them. He becomes self-confident.
Oh, yeah.
He's a better speaker. He's everything that he wanted to be, and this card gave it to him. He then took it and became an asshole because of it. But I like the effect it had on him until he couldn't just control it.
Until he choked out his dad.
So I was going to say, because, and we'll come back to letting Amanda go with her likes too, but I also want to bring up the point though too. Like, his parents are asshole parents at the same time, but at the same time, do you feel like they're justified in trying to instill a certain level of respect and responsibility in their son?
Isn't it? I agree. I think after watching this or watching scenes again, I really, really think the parents in Christine reminded me of the mom in Carrie. She's a little extra. She's way too far, but she's trying to instill something. I feel like with Stephen King, he gives the character a reason, like why do they end up doing what they do? And you give them, and then with Carrie, her mom is like the impetus of pretty much everything. But with Arnie in this book, you know, who he is, a lot has to do with with how the parents raised him and what he got to see in the house. And he had this one friend. He does a good job of giving even the bad guy a reason for being what they are. So I think the parents tried, but they just took it too far. And then he went way too far with it.
But I mean, I agree with Arnie in the beginning when he first buys the car. It's his money. It's not like he took their money and went and bought a car. And he makes the point of, you know, I have straight A's. I never get in trouble. You want me on the chess team? I'm there. You want me doing this? I do that. I do every single thing you tell me. I have nothing of my own. So I agreed with him in that sentiment. And I thought that they were absurd for not allowing him to have a car that he purchased and was going to fix up himself. He didn't ask them for anything. Now, later, he becomes a complete asshole to his parents, and I like that they do show genuine worry for him. Like, the mom didn't like Dennis. Like, why would you not want your son to have a friend who's, you know, has a car, is popular and confident?
Cougar?
And what?
Who would become Cougar?
Yeah. But, so yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good
Amanda?
point. The parent. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna, Amanda, what was it about Christine that you absolutely fell in love with?
I mean, I'm with Harvey in that I feel like for the movie, John Carpenter did this amazing job of bringing Christine to life. Like, it's really hard when you have a character that has no dialogue, but especially when the character isn't even human,
Mm-hmm.
and you really can feel that energy coming off that car. And it's
Mhm.
all about music and lighting and dramatic, scene effects, but the way that they really make it, like, Christine is her own entity that really has power, and you feel it and you're scared of it. This car terrified me. And when somebody can make you scared of a car, like, that's pretty intense. And that's a thing Stephen King does, and then also a thing John Carpenter does really well. Um, I mean, and another thing John Carpenter does well is lighting, and I think that's a thing that they do really well in this movie. The talking about the scene where he chokes his dad. The lighting in that scene makes it so much more scary, and you wouldn't know if it was intentional or not. I think that it is. The way that he's choking his dad and the light from the lamp, the way that they're standing, and it's almost like you want it to be like this heavenly halo effect almost, but instead it's the opposite. And it looks scary. I don't know. And yeah, I love the characters that you care about them. You care about Arnie. You want him to become this better version of himself, and then you're scared for him when you realize what's happening to him. So I'm still invested in Dennis, and even in Lee, even though she does jump boyfriends pretty quick, but you know, um, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my favorite stuff.
I I it's a very relatable story in the fact that I don't know about YouTube, but I remember being 16, 17 years old, getting my driver's license. I wanted to have a car and have that freedom to just be able to come and go as I please, and all of that that comes with the responsibility and the level of status that comes from being one of only a handful of people in a high school that has a car.
Yeah,
So it's like you get to be the one that people, hey, you want to go so and so, let's get in your car and go. And I think
I was the first
a
in my
lot of
friend
people
group
can
to have a
relate
car,
to
so I
that.
know what you mean.
So was I. I don't know about Harvey, but
No,
I mean,
I wasn't.
Did they
Nope,
have
no.
cars then?
No, no, no. Horse and buggy. It was good. It was fun. It
Did
was.
you share your horse and
I
buggy
mean,
with your friends when you went to the watering hole?
I feel like Harvey had a nice big old trough outside his
Mm,
house
no.
in. Well,
If
'cause
I was
that's the
lucky.
other thing we have to remember too is I believe our guest also grew up in the great city of New York.
New York
So
City. Yay, yay.
so
You
Definitely.
grew up in
you
New York
didn't
City?
necessarily
Long Island.
need.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. That's not New
Okay,
York City.
Mhm.
the most magical place
Mhm.
I'm just
in
kidding.
the world.
Mhm.
That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
But
Mhm.
yeah, you don't necessarily quote unquote need a car in New York per se to get around.
It depends on what parts of New York you're in. If you're in the like, if it's
Long Island.
Long
Manhattan, yeah,
Island, probably.
Yeah. So Manhattan, you
Downtown,
don't need
yeah.
one. Yeah. Long
Yeah.
Island, you need a vehicle. You need to be driving around. Like so.
Well, it's a long
Um,
island, so
Bye, Caleb.
you're at
Caleb
the
said
far
bye.
end of the island. Then
Bye.
are you taking off? Oh, you did say bye, Caleb. I will see you tomorrow, buddy. And
Bye
be
bye.
ready because evidently, um, not only Psycho, but like I posted earlier, we'll be watching Pet Cemetery as well. Because
What? Good for him.
how do you just these are all great movies that everybody should at least see once in their lifetime, whether you're a horror fan
Yeah.
Mhm.
or
Yeah, if you're a horror
not.
fan, Psycho should be the first one you've ever watched.
Yeah.
And all that's you start there,
Yes,
and then you work your way up or
yes,
down.
and it's one of those that, like we were talking about yesterday, the level of psychology in that movie because you don't see a whole lot in that movie, but yet it's still scarier than shit. because Hitchcock knows what to do to manipulate the environment and the scene and the actors. And I mean, he's obviously not Kubrick and Shelley Duvall, but
Mm.
you know, it's
Mhm.
definitely
Yeah.
very psychological. So everybody should have to see Psycho at least once in their lifetime. So, snake style, we'll go start with Amanda. We'll go back the other direction. Was there anything that you couldn't stand about this movie, co-host?
I mean, no, there wasn't anything I couldn't stand. I did think that, and I know it's because it's a movie, but I did think the character development happened a little too fast. Um, you know, I'm bummed that we never got to see Arnie and Lee kind of meet and have this interaction where they go out. You just see them on this first date, and he's already this cool guy trying to get her to have sex in the car, and that was a big leap from him being this nerdy kid. I wish they could have slowed down the Arnie's slow descent into madness and made it a little more, it just
Well, I
happened
mean,
really
if I
fast.
remember correctly, it literally goes from Dennis asking her out to no, I've got a date, and then fast
And-
forward to the football game,
yeah, and they're
and they
already
show
making
up,
out and stuff.
and they're sitting in front of the car making out and causing Dennis to almost get paralyzed.
Yeah.
So
So that's the only thing really that I didn't really
fuck people.
that bummed me out was that the character development happened a little too fast. But
Mhm.
I understand why. But yeah,
Yeah. So that was fast because evidently my boy Caleb's back. Welcome back, Caleb. Harvey, was there anything about the movie that upset you or turned you off?
Um, that turned me off. I agree with Amanda very much that everything happened really fast. That's why we are now in this time of limited series and stuff, and really good stories deserve that time to be spread out,
yeah,
and it would have been so much better. I have to say, as I feel like we kind of joked about it. I'm not, and I don't think it was even. Maybe it's just me and the way I kind of took her. I'm not a fan of how I'm supposed to feel about Lee because, like she said, she jumped from dude to dude, and I'm like, wait a
There's
minute.
no
He
real
asked her,
development for her.
yeah, and
but
I'm
the
like,
car
there
tries
was
to kill her,
right, right,
and
but
you
I'm
can tell she cares about Arnie. She's torn with the way
right,
he's treating her.
right,
But yeah,
and yeah,
you're right.
yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. The more I watch these movies, I'm more in tune, or I take a little bit more into how I see women are perceived in film and such. And even back then, it's just it
But
was. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it was. I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's not much about this movie that I didn't like, so I'm like kind of grasping at straws here. Probably that. I thought Arnie was played well. His descent into madness, I
Mhm,
think, is really well done. As fast
mhm,
as they did it, I liked how we did it.
yeah.
I think it was. I think it was fun. And I love the music in this movie. I think
Oh yeah.
a huge part of this film is the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
The music
But
is Christine's voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is
I
probably
think
why I like that character so much.
probably.
Mhm.
Harvey, I understand what you're saying about Lee, but I think too you have to remember that in horror, and especially up until probably the 90s, women are often portrayed as damsels in distress that need to be saved.
And
And
she was.
Lee is very much a I need to be saved character, which
Hmm.
is why as soon as Arnie starts acting that way and she's scared, she's immediately laying her head on Dennis's shoulder and like leaning on him for comfort.
Hmm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the way that character is written and portrayed. And so I think I need to read the book because I again, because is it like that in the book?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a longer gap or a more explanation of her, or is she still just like this
She's just
tertiary character that nobody really cares about?
she's the girl that
Yeah,
is in most TV shows or movies that is the space in between the friends. It's
gotcha.
not that blatant in this book because that's not really the
Right,
point of her.
right,
That's
right.
just kind of the thing. But I don't know. I'm trying to think how she was kind of described in the book. You're right. She was torn. I'll give her that. She definitely didn't just jump into this dude's lap.
No,
She
she
kind of felt
cared
bad
about.
about it. Yeah, and there was some time before everything went down with the friend as opposed to with Arnie. So, of course you don't have time in the
Well,
movie to kind of put that in there.
right.
So it is what it is.
it's definitely King, and King is going to take the time to let things evolve
Mhm.
linguistically with
Mhm.
all of his plethora of words. King has a plethora.
Mhm.
And trauma bonding is real. That's the only other thing I would say.
Agreed.
True.
Agreed. Agreed. He's
I mean,
good with
I
that.
would
Oh. Mhm.
definitely agree with my cohorts that there maybe my biggest complaint would be the fact that you're not really given a whole lot of time to let things naturally unfold in a more cohesive way. And even like Amanda said, up until probably the 90s, you don't get, I mean, that I can remember, honest to God, probably the first real final girl badass to really make an appearance was probably Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween H2O.
Sydney Prescott.
Halloween
Wh-
H2O came first.
What about the
No,
character
it didn't.
the character in I Spit on Your Grave is a badass of
Yeah.
epic proportions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Epic, because not only did she fuck everybody up, but she does that after what they did to her. So if there's not a bad, that's a badass.
It's interesting because I watched this show on Shutter yesterday.
Mhm.
Um, Scream was 96 and I think H2O was 98. But I would say Sydney in the first Scream does fall into, they were talking about categories of final girls, accidental final girls versus like I can't remember what they called it, but what we're talking about, badass final girls. Laurie Strode's an accidental final girl. And I think even accidental meaning she was being the good girl, was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She wasn't proactively going out and trying to fight a killer. She just ended up having to do that because he attacked her. Whereas, like, yeah, I spit on your grave. She's like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up.
And does it in graphic
And
flourish.
yes.
So
And like Lori in
Very
Halloween H2O,
graphic.
she's like, come for me, Michael. I'm gonna fuck your shit up. So
mhm.
yeah.
That's literally almost the exact words that come out of her mouth in the movie.
I love those are my favorite women in film. The one who come up and
Yep.
beat that ass
Yeah.
unapologetically. Beat that
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Harvey does love a good Jamie Lee Curtis.
ass. I do,
So,
trading places. Jamie Lee Curtis.
She didn't show her
uh,
tits till she went legit. Could afford a decent pair.
I'm not gonna lie. True Lies and A Fish Called Wanda. Enough said.
I love The Fish Called Wanda. Oh,
Yeah, I
so
love that movie.
Uh,
Okay.
mm.
coming soon on an evening at the movies, we'll have to bring Harvey back and discuss
Ooh, Kevin
the wonderment.
Kline. That's when I'm like, oh my god, I love Kevin Kline.
Soap Dish made me love
Academy
Kevin.
Award winner Kevin Kline,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
he won an Academy Award for that movie too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so, in effort of moving things along so that Harvey can get back to them damn kids,
Hmm.
because they're gonna be all
Yeah.
needy here. I'm assuming rather shortly.
They've been in here twice
Um,
already. Let's go.
Okay.
so, um, again, snake style. We'll start with the guest and move our way to the co-host.
Mhm.
If you were to rate the movie out of 5, Harvey, what would you give the movie?
I'm gonna do it like we did yesterday. So I'm gonna rate the book and I'm gonna rate the movie. The book, Christine, for me, is a personal 5 out of 5. Love this book. It's not his best, but it's my favorite, which is two different things.
Yeah.
So my favorite, Christine, 5 out of 5. The movie is like 4.5, 4.5. The only reason it's not a 5 is because if the movie were 3 hours, it would basically be perfect to me. Because if an extra hour or so, we get some more time. We build. We see where the evil came from. We see how we eventually get to Arnie and all that stuff. The only thing missing was just more time to kind of expound and show us where all the evil came from and just building it up a little bit. Other than that, I love this book. I will read it
So,
again. We're talking about it. I'm gonna have to read it again this weekend. So
absolutely. And before I turn the floor over to Amanda to give us her rating, I believe there is, in fact, a plan out there that Hollywood does want to, and I believe it is Blumhouse is in the process of potentially remaking Christine.
Oh.
So there is potential out there to maybe get a more in-depth version. Whether or not it actually unfolds, that's a different story.
We
But
should do a recasting if they're
Ooh.
going to do that. We should recast Christine.
Hey, what if Christine is an electric car this year? Will that make any difference?
Oh God, no Teslas, please.
I
That's looking
mean, it
fuck
doesn't have to be a
off.
Tesla. It could be a Prius.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It could hashtag be Brandy's Prius.
Mm.
But I'm sure she's not watching because she hasn't chimed in a while. So,
Oh, I'm watching the scene where Christine is on fire and she runs over Great Value
oh
Danny
my god.
Zuko.
Okay, I'm getting ready to let you. But oh my god, how can? Okay, so I'm watching that scene.
It's terrifying.
Dude is wearing motorcycle boots and skin tight freaking jeans, and he's not even downtown anymore. He's like literally out in the middle of freaking. But yet he's still running at top speed from Christine, while Christine is idling at like 2 miles an hour, chasing him down.
And he's 40 years old playing a high schooler.
Well, yeah, that too. But
He flunked senior algebra 17 times.
oh well. On that note, evidently, definitely 100%. Christine can be Brandy's Prius then, because Brandy's
Yay.
here.
Hi, Brandy.
Hey.
So, Amanda, 5 out of 5
Um,
or out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, everything I said. Oh my God, with the car on fire is just one of the best scenes. Like when you see it right there in your face and it's like turning purple because it's on fire. Oh, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I wish it had been longer. If they remake it, I hope they do it well or do a limited series. I really do like the characters. You care about them, and yeah, the music and the effects and the lighting. John Carpenter's a genius. You'll never hear me say anything different. Um, oh, real quick though, I did want to say two of my favorite quotes, and then I'll give it my rating. Um, first of all, this whole scene where on New Year's, where him and Dennis are in the car, that whole scene is just really like you're like holding your breath the whole time. But I love when he says, love has a voracious appetite. It consumes. What does he say? It consumes everything, or it eats everything. Like, and then you find out he's talking about Christine, but that's really true. Like that's a true statement. And the one I had a problem with, like the first part of it, nothing finer than being behind the wheel of your own car. True. Then he says, except maybe pussy. Like he even knows. Lee wasn't giving it up. Like, you're a liar, dude.
Yeah.
Come on now. But that was an Arnie thing to say for sure. So I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 shitters.
Yeah, you shitters.
Yeah, this is. I would probably put this in. If it's not in my top 5 King books of all time and or movies, it's really close to being in that category as well.
I'll reread it after I finish the 1,000-page novel that Shanna is making us read.
That one?
Okay.
Yes, this one.
The
Oh,
Stand.
Amanda got
Ooh.
her copy for $37.99.
Oh, damn.
It was $17.99.
No, I was about to say, that's a lot.
It's
Close
hard
enough.
to find except for mass market paperback. That's not expensive. All the hardcovers are over $40,
Yeah.
even on thrift books.
Again, and just imagine, again, not putting that juju out into the universe, but imagine when the day comes, how much that price for that book is going to
Yeah.
skyrocket, even the mass market paperbacks.
And I didn't have it in my
So,
collection, so I decided to buy a good copy.
That's good.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely, I would say, probably movie wise, 4.5 out of 5, definitely. The book is a solid 5 out of 5. It's a great read. It To me, it's a fast read. I've read other King books where it seems like it takes a while to really get going. Christine is not one of those books, in my opinion. So, if you are definitely interested in reading King literature, Christine is one that I would definitely recommend, as well as the movie is 100%. And I think everybody else on the show will agree with me that if you have not seen this movie, you definitely need to go get a Prime account or an AMC Plus account and go check this movie out. Or even go to your, I don't condone going to Walmart, but you can go to Walmart generally, especially this time of year, and you can find like the $5 double or triple features
That's
where
a good
you
idea.
get
That's a good idea.
Christine and Dead Zone or Christine and something else from the King Library.
Maximum
And
Overdrive. They'll be those two will be together. Yeah.
yes, absolutely
Mm.
100%. And Maximum Overdrive is a very underrated movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
That ironically was directed by the man himself, Mr. Stephen King.
Yeah, yay.
So hopefully the co-host. Oh, there she is. I was going to say we need to have the co-host here for the thanking of the hundreds for making the explosion of the show such a success. I am
Yes.
overwhelmed with the amount of people that have been checking us out and listening each and every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, because this will be the
Okay.
third
I'm
time this
coming.
week we've recorded. So, but thank you guys all for being here every time we record, every time we go live, every time we drop the episodes. You guys are fucking awesome. Um, Harvey, shameless
Mm-hmm.
plugs, all the
Mm.
different beautiful amounts of podcasting beauty that you throw out into the universe. The floor is yours,
Thank you
buddy.
for thank you for having me on. This is nice back-to-back days. This is good. I'm glad I was on here. And as long as it fits into the craziness that is my schedule, I'll be happy to be back. If you haven't read it, please read Christine. If you haven't watched it, please watch Christine. You can find me at harveylaguerre.com. That's where you can find Men of the Prize. Go to Spotify to listen to Love is Black, the podcast. You can find us all on I Did Not Make These Rankings Podcast Network Tuesday when we draft, or if we're on Crushgasm or Toontastic or Sip List or an evening at the movies. We got so much going on. We entertain you in every way possible. Kasey and Amanda, thanks for having me. I'm going to go feed some people. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much, guys. Amanda, feel better.
Ooh, thank you.
And Kasey, make sure Caleb appreciates what he's going to watch tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have two lists in mind,
Absolutely
Amanda.
100%.
One, the top 5 movies you wish you could watch for the first time again.
Yes.
I would do
I
that.
want to do that.
I'd love to do Psycho. I'd love to watch that for the first
I'm
time.
down for that.
That I would love that. That'd be it. On that note, I'm off. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Bye,
Love you.
Harvey.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Thank you, Harvey. We will see you next time.
See you next
All
time.
Sorry, I got a new
right.
Surface. This happened to me on the show we just did. I thought StreamYard just kicked me out, but I think I'm hitting a button. Almost everything on this is the same, but the screen's a little different. And I think when I'm going to mute myself to cough, I'm accidentally hitting Leave Studio. So I apologize for that.
Oh no, you're fine. You've only left, I think, one time in the whole episode. I think
Yeah,
maybe twice. It's not a big
but
deal. You come
I
back
have a
anyway,
new
so
Surface, so it's not computer error. It was human error.
it's not operator error.
No, it is
So,
operator error.
do you have any shameless plugs that you would like to throw out there before I get to the coming soon on an evening at the movies?
No, the SIP list is still on a break now with everything that's going on with me. I'm hoping we can be back soon. I can record still with my wrist surgery. I just can't type like a whole lot, but hopefully we'll be back soon. I should be able to do it.
You
So,
can
yeah.
do it. I have faith in you. So, like I said, this is what episode 2 of Stephen King Birthday Bonanza, number 2 or number 4.
Number
Excuse
3.
me.
Thought it was
Number
3.
4. And
Okay.
because the first one came inside of that first year, and then the second one came after the anniversary. Therefore, 4. But
Oh,
either way,
never mind.
the maths are hard for Amanda.
No, I thought you meant
But we love
was.
you.
I thought you meant what episode number we were on this month, and I was like, I thought this was 3.
Oh no.
But you meant something else.
This one will drop second in line behind Doctor Sleep. Firestarter will drop
Oh, okay.
third in
Okay.
line, and then coming up after
Anyway,
that we'll have Cat's Eye, and then the epic return of the crossover, where the Reapers will be discussing the 18-inch thick book, The Stand.
hmm
So you can stay tuned for all that. Amanda is so excited to delve into that. But I've read it
yeah.
enough. I could probably go without having to read the book, but I'm still going to read it. And then we've got Halloween Horror Fest coming up in October. Thank you. Thanks, Grisham, coming up in November. Uh, Christmas movies in December, and then a brief break before our next anniversary. So
Yeah.
all kinds of special stuff coming up as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Um, I will go ahead and turn the floor over to Amanda so she can go back to taking her nap to get rid of the COVID. And thank you guys all for being here. Co host, the floor is yours.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we hope you all come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, I got to do it even if you got COVID. Peace and hair grease.
I figured.